everyone. Hope everything is fine. Now let's start with the lesson. You know how to find the lesson on digital lesson. You find Earth and Space. This time we will talk about Unit 6, Lesson 1. How do the Sun, Earth and Moon interact? You just click on this button to see the digital lesson. Okay, so let's start.
When you look up at the sky at night.
Okay, we start from this slide number 1.
Hi.
And before we listen to this slide, we will go to your science book. It's on page 297. Before we start, as usual, this is the essential question. How do the sun, earth, and the moon interact? As usual, we have engaged your brain. There's a question. Why is only part of the earth's surface visible? Why do we see only one part or one part, yes, of earth's surface? Okay. And for the vocabulary words, you have to find the vocabulary words. Can you think of this question? And as you can see here, you can click on this button so you can hear what's written in this page. Listen up, please.
Lesson 1. Essential question. How do the sun, earth, and moon interact? Engage your brain. Find the answer to the following question in this lesson and record it here. Why is only part of Earth's surface visible? Active reading. Lesson vocabulary. List the terms. As you learn about each one, make notes in the interactive glossary. Cause and effect.
Okay, now let's see the answer for this question. It's because that part is facing the sun, which is visible and has the daytime, while the part is not visible is facing away from the sun, so it has night time. The vocabulary words for this lesson are rotate, axis, orbit, constellation. Now let's see what are the main objectives of the lesson. We have 4 objectives. 1. Describe the motion of Earth, the moon, and the sun in the space. So we need to talk about the motion. Number 2, we need to explain how the rotation of Earth causes the day and night. So rotation causes day and night. Okay, the other 2 objectives, we will talk about them the other session of this record. We will talk about recognize that seasons result from the tilt and orbit of Earth around the sun. So seasons, they result from 2 things. 1, because Earth is tilted. 2, because Earth orbits around the sun. The 4th objective, identify historical contribution to the understanding of the Earth, Moon, Sun system. Okay, these are the main objectives. Let's go back to the digital lesson and listen up, please.
I'm Melissa. I am a flight director for the International Space Station. I communicate with the astronauts daily to make sure the mission on the space station goes smoothly. I don't get to travel into space, but I do get to see the awesome pictures and videos of space that are taken from the space station. Click on the hotspots to learn more. Then click Next when you are ready to continue your journey with the Earth, Moon, and Sun.
Okay, as we see here, we have 3 spots. Let's start with this one.
Do astronauts always see a full moon? No, only part of the moon is lit by the sun. Depending on where the moon and Earth are in relation to the sun, we see different parts of the moon lit.
So we see only one part of the moon The moon revolves around the earth. Okay, let's see the other spot.
The International Space Station revolves around Earth. It isn't the only thing moving in space. Earth moves too. Earth is constantly rotating. Because of these movements, every time the astronauts look out the windows of the space station, they have a different view of Earth.
Okay, this one shows how does Earth rotates on its axis. This is the axis. It's an imaginary line, and this is the way that Earth moves from west to east. You have to keep in mind it moves from west to east. Okay, let's see the other one.
Check out this incredible video of a sunrise in space. The sun is at the center of our solar system. Earth and the other planets all travel around it.
So as you can see, this is the sun, and other planets, they revolve around the sun. Okay, so it's sun centered. Okay, let's see next slide, the vocabulary words.
Welcome to the lesson. How do the sun, earth, and moon interact? In this lesson, you'll learn about the motion of Earth and its moon. You'll also find out how Earth's motion causes changes in night and day, and in the seasons. The vocabulary words for this lesson are rotate, orbit, axis, and constellation. Click each word to find out more about it.
Okay, let's start with the word rotate. Click on rotate. And let's see the meaning of rotate. Click on play.
Rotate. To spin on an axis.
Rotate is to spin on an axis. Let's see this video and let's see the axis and how does it spin. You see, this is the axis. It's an imaginary line. And this is the way that Earth moves. As we said before, it moves from west to east. And this line that divides the Earth into two equal parts is the equator line. It divides the Earth into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. So we have two hemispheres. Hemispheres, it means half ball. So the north one and the south one. Okay? Okay, let's see the word axis.
Axis. The imaginary line around which Earth spins as it rotates.
This is the imaginary line, the axis, which Earth spins as it rotates. Rotates, it means to move on its axis. Okay, let's see the video. Here we go. So this is the axis. And this is the way that Earth moves from west to east. And this line divides the Earth into two hemispheres. What are they? Yes. North, south. Northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Okay. Let's see the other vocabulary word. Orbit. Play.
Orbit. The path of one object in space around another object.
So orbit means the path of one object. The path of one object. Path, it's a way of one object in space. When we talk about space, we use the word orbit. Okay, it moves around another object. Object moves around another object in space. The path is called the orbit. Let's see the video. As you can see here, This is the path of Earth that moves around the sun. Okay? Path, it's an orbit of an object, which is the Earth, here, around another object, which is the sun. Let's see. Constellation.
Constellation. A pattern of stars that form an imaginary picture or design in the sky.
So it's a pattern of stars. So they are stars, in fact, and they form an imaginary picture or design in the sky. For example, we have here, let's say that we have these stars in the sky. Can you tell me about an imaginary picture for these stars? You might say this one. Someone might say something else. You might say this way. So it's an imaginary picture or design in the sky. Okay, but it is, in fact, constellation is a pattern of stars. Okay, now we're done with the vocabulary words. Let's see next slide.
At takeoff, a commercial jet is traveling at about 275 kilometers per hour. That's fast. So can you imagine how it must feel to travel at 107,200 kilometers per hour? You're doing it right now. This is how fast Earth orbits the sun. In this lesson, you'll learn how Earth spins and moves around the sun, and how this motion relates to night and day, and to the changing seasons.
Okay, as you can see here, we have two movements of the Earth. One, it spins on its axis this way. The other one, it moves around the sun. The green line is called, do you remember what is it called? It is called the path, right? Or orbit. So we have two movements for Earth. Okay, one movement is called rotation. The other movement is called revolution. So rotation, it means it spins on its axis. Okay, while revolution means it moves in a path around the another object, which is the sun. Okay, next.
The sun, Earth, and Moon form a system in space. Each part of the system, the sun, Earth, and the Moon, has its own unique characteristics. Click each part of the picture to learn more about the sun, the moon, and Earth.
Okay, we have main characteristics for the sun, the Earth, and the moon. Okay, so let's see what are the main characteristics. This is the sun, this is the Earth, and the moon. Let's start with the sun.
The sun's diameter is more than 100 times as large as Earth's diameter. As Earth and the other planets move around the sun and the planets have a gravitational attraction for each other. The force of gravity keeps Earth and the other planets in motion around the sun.
Yes, it has a gravitational force, huge gravity because of its huge size. Okay, it has gravitational force. Let's see Earth.
Earth is much smaller than the sun. Earth's atmosphere protects Earth's surface from the sun's ultraviolet rays. The atmosphere also keeps Earth at a temperature that is suitable for life. Earth is the only known planet with liquid water on its surface, which is very important. All living things are made mostly of water.
So this is the planet of life because it has water, liquid water in fact, on its surface. In addition to this layer of gases is called the atmosphere. Okay, and the atmosphere protects living things from ultraviolet, from X-rays that comes from the sun. Let's see the moon.
The moon's diameter is about 1/4 the size of Earth's diameter. It takes about a month for the moon to move around Earth. Because the moon is moving around Earth, the moon looks different during different times of the month.
So the moon looks different during different times of the month. Okay, we will talk about that the other lesson about moon phases. Now let's go back to your book. Let's see the other page. It talks about night and day. Why do you think that we have night and day? Let's see this slide.
The sun, Earth, and moon form a system because the moon revolves around Earth and Earth revolves around the sun. The Sun-Earth-Moon system is part of the larger solar system, which includes the other planets and bodies that revolve around the sun. Click on each dot on the line to learn more about the motions of Earth and the moon around the sun.
Okay, let's start with
In this first
gravity.
image, we see only the sun. The force of gravity between Earth and the sun and the tendency of moving objects to remain in constant motion keep Earth in its orbit. It takes 1 year for Earth to revolve around or orbit the sun.
So the sun has great gravity and it takes 1 year for Earth to orbit around the sun. Okay, next.
Now we can see Earth's orbit around the sun. Picture an imaginary line going straight through Earth from the North Pole to the South Pole. That line is Earth's axis. Earth rotates or turns around its axis once each day. Notice that Earth's axis is not straight up and down compared to Earth's orbital path. Instead, Earth's axis is tilted slightly. This tilt is what causes seasons.
Okay, so as you can see here, the Earth has this axis and the Earth rotates on its axis from west to east, as we said before. This is called rotation. At the same time, it moves around the sun, and movement around the sun is called revolution. Okay, let's see the
While
moon.
Earth revolves around the sun, the moon revolves around Earth. It takes about 1 month for the moon to travel all the way around Earth. During that time, the same side of the moon is always facing Earth.
You see, only one side of the moon facing the Earth, and it takes 1 month for the moon to orbit the Earth, to move around the Earth. Next.
Now that you've learned about the Sun-Earth-Moon system, see if you can describe the interactions between the sun, Earth, and moon. Drag each label to the correct image.
Okay, you can do that on your Think Central. I will do it in front of you and you can do it or try it again. Okay, which one has, or its gravity holds the planets? For sure, it's the sun. Which one orbits around the Earth? Earth doesn't orbit around the Earth, it's moon. And rotates on its axis while it revolves around the sun. It's
Great
the Earth.
job.
Let's see next slide. This is day and night.
Earth turns all the way around on its axis once every 24 hours. It is this turning that causes day and night. When your location on Earth faces away from the sun, it is nighttime. As your location on Earth turns toward the sun appears to rise. It then becomes daytime.
Okay, so as we said before, we have two movements for the Earth. One is called rotation, which is moving around its axis, okay, this way from west to east. And the other one is called revolution, which is moving around the sun. So it moves around the sun. It's called revolution. How long does it take rotation for the Earth to complete one rotation? It's 24 hours. And revolution, to finish one to revolve one time around the sun, it's 1 year. Okay, now let's see, where do you think the sun is? Where is the sun? Which side is the sun? Yes, this side. Because as you can see here, because here we have daytime, while on the other hand, this part is away from the sun, so it is night. Next.
As you know, Earth also revolves around the sun, which takes about 1 year.
Okay, now we'll stop here in seasons. You have these pages related to what we discussed on Think Central. Okay, you can go over them, and you can see these pages. Here's the day and night time. This part faces the sun, you see? This part faces the sun, so it's day, while this one is night. Okay? This is because of rotation. Yes, here. Earth rotates on its axis from west to east. As a result, the sun appears to rise from east to west. This is why we see the sun rises from east to west. It's not because the sun moves and the earth doesn't move. It's because the earth moves from west to east. Okay? So you can go over these slides. Okay? We'll stop here, seasons, then we will start the other time, hopefully. Hope you really understand. You can repeat it as many times as you like. You can use your digital lesson, Think Central, to repeat the lessons again and again. Thank you for listening. Good luck. Have a nice day.